I'm Dr. George Flynn, and today I'd like to discuss with you on In-Depth TV communication. Now, communication, people study it in college, people study it in high school, people study it all through their lives. There are all kind of courses on speech, on talking, on how to look, how to communicate. But what I'd like to discuss with you is how we communicate. You know, we have ideas in our head. You have an idea in your head. You would like to communicate that idea to some other people. Now, a lot of people say in communication, only 7% is the words that you speak. 93% is the body language, the intonation, how you talk, how you look, how you smile, it's all about your entire being communicating. Now, we were given this right by God. We were given this right and this ability to communicate with others. In the animal kingdom, they can communicate. We don't know exactly how. Some of us have learned a little bit about how animals communicate, but we're going to focus on how we communicate with each other, because that is the basis, the very basis of most problems in the world. Lack of communication. You know, there's a famous movie and a famous line, and I won't call the movie, but the line is, what we have here is a failure to communicate. So here's what I'd like to discuss with you, the way we communicate. In the beginning, you know, there were pictures in caves, and we hear about that kind of thing. We're not going back that far to the caveman. We're going to talk about how we've communicated in your knowledge and your experience. Well, we communicate by written word, write letters. You know, there was the old thing about the Pony Express, of getting a message from one place to the other by writing a letter. And then came the telegraph, and you could send messages very rapidly over wires. And then came the radio and the TV and all of the electronic devices. But here is the big challenge. The best way to communicate is one-on-one, person to person, in person, where they can experience the entirety of you communicating to them. So, and them communicating to you. So it's an interaction. It's almost an interaction where you have to be there and they have to be there. So in the recent past, we've had this breakdown in communication. It's called social distancing. Wearing a mask. You cannot see the person. You can't see if they're smiling. You can't see if they're frowning, they're yawning. You can only see their eyes. Social distancing, we can't get very close to people to see and kind of feel what they're talking about. So communication has been severely limited. And now we're communicating lessons on screens, virtual, we call it virtual learning. We're having meetings on screens with everybody on a TV screen. And we think, oh, that's going to be fine. A lot of people that have had to experience those meetings, those virtual meetings, have said something is missing here. Virtual learning, you would think a kid would be great, just hop out of bed, go sit in front of a computer, put on their top at least, where they can be seen on the TV screen, and they have their lessons. Well, they miss being around their friends. We miss being around our friends. We miss the water cooler talk. We miss the interaction, the social interaction. And a lot of that is lost on us in the electronic society. Let's talk about online versus in person. You know, online or on TV, people say, well, they look so-and-so, they did so-and-so. You can adjust the camera where you look, you can adjust the angle, you can adjust all kind of things. Then you meet someone in person and they say, man, you're so much younger, or you're so much taller, or you're so much shorter. You know, it's been said that TV adds about 10 pounds to your weight. And it's said TV is a cool medium. In other words, you really have to expand and extend your emotions in order to get through on TV. Whereas radio, voice only, where you're using your imagination as to what this person looks like and is what they're saying, is a very warm and hot medium. You can say something very emphatically. You can say it very emphatically and not move just like this, and it comes across very passionate. It's a passionate medium. But what I'm getting at is, let's take the analogy of, and you may not have ever experienced this, but plenty of people have, online dating or online relationships. If it happened years ago, you think online relationships are new? Online dating is new? No, it's not. Pen pals. Think about pen pals years ago. People would write, they'd wait a week, they'd hear from them. It just was a slower process. Online, you see this person. They tell you everything they've done great. They tell you all about that. They may be, prevaricating, we'll call it, about their accomplishments, about how well they've done, about their wealth. Or they present themselves in the best possible light. And you meet them in person. You say, where is this person I was talking to online? Where is this person I was typing with and talking to, or FaceTiming with, or typing or talking with on Zoom? Where is that person? They're different people because you're experiencing the full person. Now, communication is, we found that virtual meetings, even though they sound great in theory, they're really not so good. Internet dating, even though it sounds good, it sounds easy, you go through and pick somebody, but remember, you're finding somebody that has put up their best self. They haven't shown you their entire self. They haven't shown you, how they, whatever, pick it. Something that may annoy you, you may not pick up online. You may not pick up on a website, on a social media website. A lot of people say, well, I've got so many friends. And I say, oh, really? How many friends do you have? Oh, I have thousands of friends on Facebook. I have thousands of friends on Twitter, pick one of the things, on Instagram. I have thousands and thousands of followers. Do you really? Have you ever thought about asking each one of them to send you $5? How much money do you think you get? Ask them to send you $1. See how much money you get. Okay, ask them to send you a quarter, 25 cents. See how much money you would get. How many would give you a quarter? What kind of friends do we have? We have friends that we make believe. So we're living in this sort of make-believe world, and I'm saying that it's better to make friends in person, even though you have to do social distancing for now, even though you have to wear a mask for now. Whatever it takes, you're at least a little bit closer to the real person. Now, where can you meet people like this? Well, you can meet them in church, a good place to meet people. You can meet them in different gatherings, but they can't be big gatherings right now. So what do you do? How do you communicate? I'm saying that at least talk to them. Telephone, most people have a cell phone, and most people have ditched one of the biggest advantages of the cell phone, being able to talk on the cell phone. What do? They text, and it gets so aggravating that people are texting while driving. and they'll hear a beep or a ding or what, and they cannot wait to see what that text is or what that, and maybe a text trying to sell you something. And you may look down and have a car wreck, an automobile accident, just by trying to read your text. But I'm saying, learn to talk on the phone again. I know it's the younger people right now, they love to use their thumbs and text. That's okay. That's okay. But they've lost quite a bit. And sometimes maybe it's better for us to show them that if you'll just go ahead and talk to somebody, you can get things in the inflections of their voice. Now, texting, they've tried to overcome that. How they've tried to overcome it? They use emojis, the little smiley faces or the sad face. They're trying to show you their emotions. It still hasn't really replaced the human face to face, or talking at least to someone. And that's what this communication is about. Getting your ideas, presenting yourself as a real person, not a virtual person. You're a real person. That's the way you were designed. You've got a real soul, and you don't see that. You don't see that on the, in the Zoom meeting or FaceTime or on Skype. Sure, you can talk around the world. You can talk to a lot of people. You can do it by text. You can do it by email. You can do it by written letter. But as long as we can get together and have a face-to-face meeting with someone, communication goes so much better. Try it. I've made it a practice to try to at least call, whether they're in the country or around the world, call at least one or two friends a day that I haven't seen in a long time. Get in touch with them. Just keep that line of communication open, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help other people. We're here to take an interest in their lives. And when you take an interest in their life, and you're not trying to, command any kind of respect, or when you take an interest in their life, there is nothing so powerful as a friendship that where you are interested in them and not totally interested in yourself. Now, once you take an interest in their life, they're just apt to take an interest in your life. And then you can say, this has been going on, this has been going on, and this is what's happening, and I was just thinking about you and remembering these good times we had together. And try to do that. Let's communicate a lot more, especially in the time of mask and social distancing. At least we can get on the phone. At least we can do FaceTime. We can do these things rather than texting, emailing, or, it's a good way of getting an idea across, but actual communication really requires us talking with each other. And I mean talking where you can hear their voice. You can hear if they're trembling. You can hear if they're happy. You can hear so much in the voice rather than just a text or just an email or even just a letter. Now, if you take time to write a letter and mail it, you'll stand out, because people just don't do that anymore. But better yet, make that phone call to a friend that you haven't seen for a long time. And make that and keep up those human connections, because that's what this is about, communication with humans, especially those that are in your family, in your church, in your social group. Make sure you keep in touch with them, because they want to hear from you whether they'll admit it or not, and they'll love hearing from you. So give them a call. I'm George Flynn. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time where we can communicate even more together.